following episode of Dave's Video Graveyard contains spoilers and naughty words. Listener discretion is advised.
Have you ever bought or rented a videotape that wasn't quite right? It may have been a pirate copy.
Ratings advice. Use it. It's on every...
We're going streaking!
Dave's Video Graveyard.
That guy in little clothes.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
I'm not a smart man.
Shut up! One tubby.
What's wrong with him?
My first thought would be alive.
Why so serious?
Wise man say forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza.
Hail to the king, baby.
Hey, Mom! The meatloaf! We want it now! The meatloaf!
Of all the radio shows in the world, this is definitely one of them. Dave's Video Graveyard on 100.5 WOW FM.
Okay, you people sit tight, hold the fort, and keep the home fires burning. And if we're not back by dawn, call the president.
It is 100.5 WOW FM, Dave's Video Graveyard. A massive thanks to everyone for joining us this evening. It is an absolute pleasure to be with you, even though I'm sweating, or I'm not sure if it's just the humidity, but I'm very uncomfortable. But hopefully this evening's show can bring me and you some comfort. Now, we are joined by a very special guest this evening. It is once again time for a guest choice special here on DVG, and we are joined by a very fascinating person. We are joined by Princess Taysharni. How are you?
I'm good. I'm pretty sure I'm also pretty moist right now. It's definitely sweaty.
You are only human. So, it is amazing to have you here. Thank you so much for reaching out and being a part of our little lawnmower hut that is DVG. So this evening, we are going to be going through your 10 all-time favourite films. Our co-host Casey is just on the way, so she will be joining us as well. How hard was it to narrow down to 10 movies for you?
Well, coming from someone who's definitely spent a lot of time just watching movies and avoiding the world, it was really hard to write a list of movies because there's so many categories. Coming from someone who's obsessed with vampires and SFX to Disney movies to just the overall drama of life and watching it. So it was really hard. So I had to break it down to per category because there's a lot of film out there, and I give all the respect to film crews as well because I do really love seeing film and watching film from a creative perspective, not just a consumer perspective. So watching it and going, wow, this is what I would have done differently, or I would have, so that's why I watch movies, is because I'm like, what could I have done better, or what is it that I love about film?
I constantly watch movies and I problem solve, and I'm like, if this had happened here, there'd be no issue whatsoever in the movie. But then I forget the fact that means there would be no movie, no point at all for the movie. Also joining us this evening, with a late note I'm hoping, we are joined by Casey C from 3D Radio. Casey, how are you?
Yeah, good. Late,
yeah. It's okay. It's still within the realm of the first 5 minutes. So you've missed all 10 choices from Princess. So Casey, Princess Casey.
Hi.
Hello. The only late you want to be is late for work, not late for your period.
Yeah.
I am
It's
35 years late and I'm going okay. So anyway, this evening we're going to be going through your 10 favourite films.
I will watch it over and over again. I will learn the soundtrack. I will just learn all the facts. I will watch all the breakdowns. And then once I'm done with it, I will move on to my next favourite film.
Yep. It's like us. We'd rather watch the same film over and over than something new that someone's like, you'll like this. I'm like, yeah, but I know I like this one.
Because of DVG, we are constantly getting suggested, you guys need to check out this movie. And I'm like, I wish I had time, but on the weekend, I watched Demolition Man again instead of anything I was supposed to watch. So that's the approach that we take. Now, give us a little bit of background about who you are.
Well, so I have a YouTube channel that heavily reflects on age regression. So film and age regression for me is huge for mental health. I strongly believe that it is better to watch a Disney film than it is to watch a horror film from a nervous system perspective. Although I do watch Disney films and there's certain cartoons that I still can't watch because they make me anxious. Because I'm like, no, this is the scary bit.
Yeah, the bit in The Little Mermaid where Ursula does the poor unfortunate souls. I still can't watch.
And you actually, because you regress, you actually go, oh my goodness, and you go back to that state. And I think that's what's so beautiful about film is you can watch film that it's not just about watching the story, it's about watching it and remembering a time where you felt safe, remembering a time when you felt pure joy, you didn't have to worry about the world. So when I watch films that are like heavy, I call them heavy films, which are like SBS films.
As a heavy person, I take exception to that.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to trigger you. But yeah, so I love films that are quite lighthearted, and because I do believe that our psyche absorbs everything. Our brain can't actually acknowledge that this isn't real. So if you are feeling not great about yourself or struggling with mental health, like watch those happy films. You'll literally trick your brain into thinking it's happy.
Well, it's funny, and I will testify to that way of thinking, because quite often if I watch a super upsetting horror film or something that genuinely scares me, I have to watch something super light to kind of debug before I go to bed, because
the movie Aftercare.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's the aloe vera of film watching. So yeah, I definitely see that the way that works. I've also got to give a massive warning to everyone listening this evening. There is going to be a lot of Disney soundtracks, unfortunately. Yes. So take it as you will. You have been warned.
I tried not to pick all Disney films, but I picked a few, and at least they're not about me going, oh my God, I love this. Like, they're actually pretty...
Well, why are you here then?
Yeah.
Because that's what the show is.
It's more like, do you know when you watch films and that you literally imprint on them in certain points of your life? And
it's like your Horcrux.
literally. And so for me, there's so many films that I've watched throughout my life, and I've been like, that was a point in my time where I felt this or I felt that. Like, puberty was a massive one. Like, any films I watched during puberty, I've kind of got a kink with the things that are like, I've literally imprinted onto them and been like, oh my God, I want to be Belle from Beauty and the Beast and be trapped in a castle and yada yada.
I listen to this podcast where people call in this just like a message bank service and tell their secrets to, and they just do it anonymously and they tell these secrets, and there are so many of them that are girls having their pubescent sexual awakening to Jim Carrey movies that it started to become this thing where like, there's at least 6 different incarnations of Jim Carrey where people have called in and said they've had this like awakening to a Jim Carrey.
Look, to be fair, the scene from Me, Myself and Irene when I don't know how much I can say, but essentially there's a toy they use and she's like, I didn't
did
use
it to yourself.
It's just there in the sink washing
good.
Yes. The visual of him using the bath mat to flick water up is amazing. Quite often movies come up where people say, you know, like, oh, if Daniel Day-Lewis wasn't in this film, it wouldn't be a great film. Me, Myself and Irene is one of the greatest examples of no one else could do it, because I think one of the greatest bit of acting of all time, and I've said this many times before, Jim Carrey fighting himself... tackling himself and spitting in his own face is an absolute feat in slapstick comedy, and it should be worshipped as it deserves.
Look, I love comedy, and I'm definitely like pushing forward to being a bit of a stand-up comedian. I think stand-up comedy is where I want to go.
But you're sitting down.
I know. That's why we're bringing up horizontal comedy. We're talking about all the sexy things and calling it horizontal comedy instead of stand-up.
Let's do that after 9 p.m. Let's push it for there. So, content warning, of course, and don't forget, you can join in the conversation. It is so easy. Simply head on over to social media, look up Dave's Video Graveyard on WOWFM, and let us know your thoughts on this evening's picks, or just fact check, because we always love that. I got an angry phone call recently giving me a bit of fact checking, so it's always fun, because that's what we're here for, is to be told we are wrong.
I'm sorry, but do you run a radio show, mate?
What time's your show on? I'll tune on in.
I get that with YouTube comments. Like, you should see the stuff I get in YouTube, and I'm just like, run your own YouTube and call me out. Like, until then.
Yeah.
Famously, the YouTube comment section is like the lowest of the low. How much of that do you subscribe to? I did notice recently that you don't mind a few drinks, and at that point, you decide to critique the comments that critique you.
Look, my belief system is no one on the internet that you've ever not met is real. So until you've met them face to face, or they're putting a little voice memo in your inbox, they're not actually real, and they don't really care about what you're doing. They're not annoyed enough to call you, or like, I'm just like, whatever, like, calm down.
With Casey and I's podcast, there is nothing I love more than a 1-star review. Because to drive someone to drive someone to be passionate enough to dislike, to log in to their iTunes and leave us a 1-star review.
They have to like fill in a captcha and everything.
We've still, regardless of whether it's negative or positive, we've changed their life, and I take comfort in that.
Look, anyone who is triggered by anything I say, I'll always say one thing: who hurt you, your mum or your dad? And
moving
you
right
watch people explode.
I bet. Let's jump into a little bit of music before we start this evening. This is 100.5 WOWFM.
What you've just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
All the movies, none of the knowledge. This is DVG on WOWFM.
It is 100.5 WOWFM, Dave's Video Graveyard. A pleasure to be with you. Casey, what's been going on? You been watching anything?
I found this channel on YouTube that picks apart online mysteries of people. Well, I'll give you an example. They found that this girl who said that she was a professional makeup artist and all this had really bad makeup in the videos, and that she was saying that she had her own signature range of like lipstick from some like, you know, Mecca or whatever, but that's something that everyone can do when they're in this shop. And so they went and like looked at this algorithm of her likes and everything, and it's like she bought all these followers and she was pretending like she was a model and everything.
So they did a full like don't F with cats on the internet.
Yeah, it's
deep
like
dive.
that. They find all these people and they like pull apart their online personas, and it's really interesting. Like,
wow.
Yeah, some woman who was forcing her daughter to act like a Lolita geisha model. And, like, it was just really depressing. But, like, I like that somebody, like, just sort of cracked the case. Yeah.
Sorry, this is going to totally change the whole conversation. But so this is something that I openly talk about, so it's not anything new. But so I grew up believing that my mum had cancer from 2001 to 2016, but then found out she never was sick.
Oh, weird.
So I've lived that life. Like, for me, it's something that's fascinating.
Is it not?
Yeah, she's got Munchausen.
Yeah.
So it's something that, unfortunately, with mental health is crazy, but it's true.
But it's weird that they're doing online like, there were people that were faking pregnancies.
They get financial support.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
crazy.
just odd, but like I just went down this like wormhole
Rabbit
of
hole.
things. Yeah, it was crazy.
Honestly, I feel like the internet's a bit of a wild, wild west, where people all have a voice, and some people probably shouldn't.
Who would have thought back in the day when I was just talking to girls that I went to school with, and that
on
was
MySpace.
the great on ICQ.
Oh yeah,
and it was the most exciting thing on time. Just to think where we'd be now.
Some of that ASL, age, sex, and live.
PAW, parents are watching.
Oh my God, yes, I remember that one. Oh, and then we all got turned into lampshades.
I was going to say, as I said that as a 35-year-old man, I just made it onto a list. So
yeah, probably.
I hope it was worth it.
ASL.
Now, this evening, because it is your guest choice special, we do have the high fidelity quiz, and the reason it's called the high fidelity quiz, I stole it from another WOWFM show called High Fidelity. So shout out to Shannon for not letting me steal it, for having it stolen. So it wouldn't have been stolen.
Choice.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been stolen if it didn't exist. So we will be going through this quiz and finding all about your movie watching habits. So starting with, what was your local video store growing up?
So I grew up in good old Salisbury East near Brahma Lodge, where we went to the servo. That was just around the corner from
Casey, get your wallet.
Blockbuster.
Check your wallet.
Yeah, be careful. I grew up in Salisbury and Aldinga. God.
I wonder who tagged Taysharni on the wall.
But yeah, so we rocked up to the Blockbuster. It was Video Easy or Blockbuster, one of the two. And I just remember it being like a 3-for-1 Friday night deal. We'd get like 2 new releases, or it's like one new release and 2 weeklies.
2 weeklies.
Yes, and it was always like I always had a crush on the video guy. Like I always even at like 12 years old, I was just like a cool thing. It was like, oh my God, he works at a video store.
I know, right? I used to think that's the coolest job ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
As someone that worked at a video shop, guess what? It literally was the coolest job ever. I would give up I make a decent living, not bragging, but I would give that up for my minimum wage job back at a video store.
I did end up dating somebody who was a video store clerk, and I don't regret that at all.
Were you a customer first off? Did you go in there and be like, what do you recommend?
No, but I did used to then, after that, just go and hang out in there.
Yeah, because you're just like...
I used to recommend movies to like attractive customers, hoping that I'd super impress them, and I just know they're like, thanks, weird fat guy.
Maybe it was me watching you do that and be like, oh my God, his movie recommendations are amazing. I love him.
Where are his eyebrows though? Okay, the next question. Remove it from the way you live.
Mm-hmm.
You're 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favourite TV show? Ice cream as well, because ice cream's not a thing. Junk food, book, and toy.
Oh, golly. Can we write that down? I can't remember it. Okay, so we got the first movie, yeah?
TV.
I reckon Sabrina the Teenage Witch, to be quite honest.
Choice.
Sabrina,
nice.
yes.
Yeah, Sabrina, and then you got the Sabrina Secret magazines that released each week. Yes.
Oh, my God.
So that was my TV
What
show.
are you talking about?
It was like this thing where each
Girls
week you got a
know.
magazine, and then you got like a thing to put in the box, which is maybe a pair of sunglasses or a lip gloss.
Yeah, or like
each
a
year.
charm for a bracelet and shit.
Sorry, I was
You know those?
I was a Dolly Doctor kid, so I don't know.
Ooh, get me
This
that
was
silk
like,
section.
you know, the dinosaurs thing where you got a
Yes,
wooden piece.
yes.
It was like that kind of thing, but for girls.
But like
Nice.
makeup and, witchy things.
Or
I
like
never
a glitter,
Yeah.
glitter lip gloss thing. You know?
I never finished any of those subscription-based magazines.
Actually,
but
I
any
finished
kids
one.
at school that did, you knew not to trust them because
'Cause the
they go
first
into the same
one-
category as the wooden rocking horse kids, where you're just like,
Or just horse people in
Yeah,
general.
horse people
Yeah.
are weird. There's always a horse girl and a dolphin girl at your school that are really
Shout
weird.
out last week, Blaze, that was on the show, was the horse girl.
Yeah.
And I just straight up called her out for it. And she's like, yeah, weird.
And then they made that show, The Saddle Club, like it was going to become cool, but it never
Didn't
did.
someone
one
die in
week
that
too
show?
late.
Did they?
I heard that someone got hit by a train on that show.
Good.
Allegedly.
Good. Yeah. No, they said it was a train wreck.
A train wreck. Oh, I always get that mistaken.
Nice. Favorite ice cream?
Golden Gay Time, baby.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. A classic.
Yeah.
What's yours, Casey?
Warp.
Warp.
A warp?
Yes.
What's a warp?
It was shaped like
It's like
an
a WAP?
If you look, yeah. Both good to put in your mouth. If you look at it from above, it was shaped like an S, and it was essentially a cookies and cream ice cream.
But it was like a flake had been crushed into the ice cream, like it was real small bits of
Get
chocolate.
a
It was
soft
awesome.
serve,
Yeah.
mix it up, crush a flake all through it, and then set it in an S shape. And
Yeah,
that's
it
what
I
it
feel
was.
like you
Real
need to
good.
make a video and recreate that and just smash it.
We do.
Why didn't we try that?
Do you know what? I've tried having ice cream, let it go to like sort of that soft room temperature, adding the flake in or whatever, and then putting it back in the freezer, and it doesn't have the same consistency.
Because the sugar separates when
so
you
it's
refreeze
not-
it.
I
Were
don't
you
think
ever
we'll ever
someone
make
that got
it.
like home ice cream, but then you would like just your normal vanilla ice cream, then chuck in some Milo and then stir it all together
Yep.
and make
Cool.
it into that
Mhm,
mushy
that
Oof.
slop.
I
I
actually
know.
changed my mind. That's
I'm-
my favourite
Yeah.
ice cream.
No,
I know
all
this
the
long,
pink, brown,
this
and
long
white
distance
all
runner
made
body
together.
might hide the fact, but yes, I did do that.
No, the pink, brown, and white, but all put together in a weird.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
mixed
mixing
colour.
Neapolitan together, it was so bizarre, but it was this whole other flavour that made no sense.
Yeah, they make a milk now that's Neapolitan milk.
God, I'm fat.
Do you think that people who eat Neapolitan just like the flavour, but they have autism and need it separated?
Maybe. Yeah. Don't let
What?
it touch.
What's your favourite junk food as a
Favourite junk food? Do you know what? Can I be honest? So I used
No.
to smash. No? Okay, I'll lie then.
teenager? Lie.
I used to smash white bread, cheese, and mayo sandwiches.
Oh, wow.
Literally just white bread, cheese, mayo, and that was my
Casey,
favourite.
check your wallet again.
I
grew up poor. Leave me alone.
Or like those
Unstable
kids
and
that,
Salisbury.
that have sauce sandwiches.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what's funny? That's actually something that when I get drunk, the first thing I do is grab a piece of white bread and put tomato sauce.
Wow, that's
Bizarre.
real Salisbury.
Favorite book as a kid?
Ooh, Magic Faraway Tree.
Oh, nice.
I love anything that's to do with disassociation and avoiding your entire reality and hiding in a tree and finding different
I,
lives.
as a boy, enjoyed that the sister's name was Fanny.
Oh, yeah.
I did too. It's Fanny and Dick, wasn't
There's
it?
Fanny and Dick,
I'm allowed to say Dick.
They've
because
changed
it's a name.
it now, though. It's different now, yeah.
And Moonface, who I grew up to
Yeah.
be. Me and Noni Hazelhurst both grew up to be Moonface. And your favourite toy?
Favorite toy. That's really funny.
As a 10-year-old, innocent childhood toy.
Barbies.
Okay.
It's a funny story we'll talk about on the podcast instead.
Who goes on your Mount Rushmore of actors or actresses? So you got to pick 4.
Ooh, that's a tricky one. Look, to be quite honest, the beach era of Leonardo DiCaprio always gets me. That's always time. I'm a massive, massive fan of Lindsay Lohan. I love a good child star who deserved better. And who else we got? That's 2. I'm just thinking of all the people that I've definitely had crushes on over the years, to be quite honest. Look, honestly, excuse me. Look,
Cough
I'm going to be
directly
honest.
into the microphone, please. Much better.
Zoe Kravitz. Do you guys get around Zoe Kravitz?
Yeah.
High Fidelity, I fell in love.
They'd have to stop me from licking that statue if that was a thing.
I'm just someone that's really confused on whether or not I want to be with her dad or her.
Oh, both at the same time.
If you've seen
Yeah,
if you've seen the viral video of his leather pants splitting, that would make the decision even harder.
Oh God, we see your work.
I'm going to put that in my bank.
And
yeah.
What do we got? 2
One-
more.
one to go.
One more. Look, to be quite honest, I actually don't really like actors. I'll be real blunt with you. Like, as someone who surrounds herself with creatives, they're all crazy. Like, you can't trust any of
Really?
them.
Never met one.
You never met one? Never met a crazy person?
Well, I've met a lot of musicians. That's a different type of crazy, though.
do you know?
Actors
Wait.
have-
Do you know any drummers?
Yeah.
Well, you know exactly what
Yeah,
she's
I-
talking about.
Okay, all right.
It's
Anyone,
that, yeah.
It's a type.
Yeah, if there's a type. And
Yeah.
actors, for me, whenever I see any sort of actor, I'm like, who hurt you in your childhood? Like, why
Write a movie about
Why
it.
do you need love from more than just you? Like, why is it you need love from everyone?
And I've always had in the back of my mind that they professionally pretend. They professionally trick you and lie.
So I actually dated a stand-up comedian once, and through Fringe, because that's the only time when anyone in Adelaide's interesting.
Hey, that's when they give the drama nerds the key to the city for the week.
Bitch, that's me. I'm a drama nerd to a T, so I love it. But anyway, and so I asked him about actresses. I'm like, what do you think of actresses? And he's like, I'll never date one. They're trained liars.
Yeah. That's. I never thought of it like that.
And so now when I hear the celebrities, I'm like, you're lying.
I can't see it on your face, and that's how I know.
Exactly.
For this next question, pretend it is 2019. Would you prefer to watch a movie at home or at the cinemas?
At home, I'm overstimulated in general, so sitting down, doing anything just drives me mental. I think that paying that much for a film when the celebrities themselves get paid multi-millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'm a sit at
downloading
home
that
in my
shit.
jammies. Yeah.
If you could only have one, comedy, horror, or drama to watch for the rest of your life, why would you pick comedy?
Comedy. Because of all the endorphins in your brain. Because you can I can have the same day planned out and watch happy movies and happy music and all of that. Do the exact same thing the next day with sad stuff. It'll totally change my day.
Yeah.
I had a fantastic Christmas with my family, and that released the same amount of endorphins as the final episode of The Mandalorian Season 3. So I know exactly what you mean.
This is why I chose to spend time by myself on Christmas. That probably answers your question, to be honest. I literally said to my family, I was like, I love you guys, but I don't want to see you. I was like, I'm just going to hang and watch movies.
Which film that didn't get one deserves a sequel?
Ooh. Look. Sorry, I'm still coughing. I've got my fruit box. It's okay.
I can never answer this.
I know what movies shouldn't have a sequel.
That's easy.
Yeah.
I won't say film, but Freaks and Geeks, the TV series, sort of should have been renewed for a new season.
Yes.
That was a travesty.
The only downside of that happening would have been the amount of talent in that show that went on to bigger and better things may not have happened if they were, like the cast.
If we got sick of them, yeah.
Like the cast of the 70s show. Like, I don't think any of them really went on to do what they should do.
Yeah, but Judd Apatow had his finger in Hollywood anyway.
I'm so glad you finished that sentence. Who would play you in your biopic?
Do you want my narcissistic opinion? Or?
Yeah, go on.
Who do I think's hot enough to play me?
Do you have any idea who she thinks she is?
To be honest, I don't think they're born yet.
Okay.
It's still yet to go.
Height-wise, I think Kylie Minogue's in with a chance. Young, hot Kylie Minogue.
Ooh, give me some of those gold
shorts.
hot pants.
Hot pants,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've actually been told I look like Kylie Minogue. They're lying, but yes.
I think right now I'd cast like girlfriend video clip era Avril Lavigne as you.
Yes, I
Yep.
vibe with that. Some
I
MK
see.
Ultra, post MK Ultra
Yeah,
Avril
yeah.
Lavigne.
Yeah.
Or
Conspiracy version Avril Lavigne.
The Amanda Show, Amanda Burns.
Again, post MK Ultra.
Yeah.
No, I'm just batshit crazy, guys.
What song would be the main title song to your biopic?
Oh, 1 Week by Bare Naked Ladies.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Which movie freaked you out the most as a child?
Poltergeist. Oh, no. Okay, so there's two. Poltergeist is genuine fear. I think that's legitimate.
Yep.
But the thing that I still do not watch to this day, which I feel like you guys are going to be heartbroken, is E.T. E.T. is one of the his long fingers, the way he turns white in the bath.
The
I was gonna
white,
say the
like
bath,
fucking bit when he
and
turns
also
white.
Oh,
the
yeah.
lying in the river.
Yeah, the
Yes.
lying in the river bit
All
when
of
he's
that.
all white and dead.
That's the reason I don't watch E.T. is because of childhood trauma. It traumatized me.
A lot of kids are scared of it now, like, if I bring it up. Like, I won't show my nephews it, even though I love it, because I know they're just going to freak out.
Which TV show or movie from your childhood would you reboot?
Ooh.
Is it Saddle Club?
No, I never watched that. That was well past my
The Sleepover
years,
Club?
Sorry. Look, honestly, I personally think that Clueless should have continued on as a TV show.
Oh,
I know
that
there was
was a
one
TV
season,
show.
but I think that could have really changed my life as a person.
Yeah. We really need that, like, computer thing that matches up your outfits as well.
I'm still waiting for that. Like, you literally can face swap yourself with Marilyn Monroe, but you can't switch your outfits.
You can't make outfits.
It's outrageous.
That's upsetting. That's
The
very
government's
upsetting.
holding it
It
from
is.
us.
It's their next MK Ultra.
Yeah.
Is they're messing with you that way. If you could drive any vehicle from a movie, what would it be?
Well, funny enough, I did read that question, and I don't have a driver's license, so
That's fine.
I would much prefer to have a good limo driver, like Pretty Woman
Is hab
style.
like the word have, but
Have.
different?
Have? That's a Salisbury way of saying it.
Fair.
I say Princess Taysharni, but it's a total mistake.
So the emphasis is on the R,
Ah.
like calm the crowd.
What are we, in My Fair Lady? Like, oh no, brown cow.
All right. If you could add your favourite fictional character to any other film, who would it be and what would the movie be?
Sailor Moon, for sure. I vibe with that. And I feel like it would be in, I really, really do vibe with, I do really, really vibe with any Kevin Smith film.
Yep.
So, like, putting Sailor Moon in a Kevin Smith film would be great.
But you could make it work in some sort of, like, Jay and Silent Bob universe kind of
Jay
thing.
hallucinates.
Yeah,
and
yep,
moves
he
on.
would.
Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
I would
can see
vibe
it.
with that.
Yeah,
I can get with
see
that.
Which actor or actress do you find so attractive that you would wear out a VHS tape of them?
You mean, what haven't I already?
This is inspired by my childhood copy of From Dusk Till Dawn.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because for me, so I am very much into men and women, and From Dusk Till Dawn was one of the first films that I went, I think I'm attracted to ladies.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that movie, we've had about 6 people tell us that, about that movie.
Yeah. Anyone
That-
who doesn't find Salma Hayek hot in that scene just has no genitals.
I literally,
Yeah.
literally, Selma Hayek, like, she's gorgeous in general. She's just amazing. But that scene, like, I know you talk about the scene with the foot thing, and she's pouring the wine into the Tarantino's foot. I'm sure he loved that shooting day.
He worked his own fetish into his film.
I just thought...
have you met any sort of male cinematographer?
I'm going to commission an artist.
This is my universe.
I'm going to commission an artist to paint me sitting on a throne with Selma Hayek from Dusk to Dawn on this side and Jamie Lee Curtis from True Lies on this side.
And by throne, are you taking a shit on the toilet?
More importantly,
Who
are you
knows?
a submissive?
Who knows?
For them,
Wherever the wind takes.
Yeah.
Let's get into some Disney stuff. So that is the High Fidelity quiz. Shout out to Shannon. It is 100.5 Wow FM. I feel like I have to talk like this coming out of that song.
Love song dedication that goes out to Arnie Pat.
A dream worth keeping from the film Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest from 1992, as ripped off by James Cameron
That was
in
not
Avatar.
the best song from Fern Gully is the Ooze song, and you should have played that.
I thought about it, but...
Tim Curry?
Oh, yeah.
Oof.
Why did you pick Fern Gully?
So Fern Gully is one of those movies that Fern Gully is one of those movies that for me, when I put it on, there is Tim Curry's character.
Tim Gully.
Tim Gully.
He was great in this movie.
Tim Curry's character, which is Hexus, which is essentially pollution, terrified me beyond repair. But I would refuse to fast forward it. I needed just someone in the room. Like, I could still watch it, but I just needed to scream out to someone, and then they would sit with me for the full 2 minutes of the song, and then I was fine. And that pretty much summarizes my entire relationships.
I was exactly the same with the rock biters in Neverending Story.
Yeah.
They terrified me, and even though they weren't bad characters, I was so scared of them that I could watch it with mum and dad, but I couldn't watch it on my own.
It's like Skeksis and Dark Crystal.
Skeksis, yeah.
I still have not revisited Dark Crystal because it scared me so much as a kid. But at the same time, The Labyrinth was one of my favourite childhood movies.
But then you were terrified of David Bowie's sack?
No. I was a massive fan. However,
His sack.
the Fire Gang that could pull their heads off, they scared me so much.
Yeah, no, I don't vibe with that. No.
But David's Bowie was fun.
He was good. He was the Goblin King, but he could be Goblin Me, that's for sure.
Yeah, I could Goblin.
So you get Christian Slater, Robin Williams as the blind bat that's not really blind. And this had to be his audition tape for Aladdin.
Well, I've invested a lot of time watching the whole drama with Disney and how they pretty much use a monopoly, and then they destroy every single other good animated feature film, which is why I also try to avoid as many Disney movies as possible, but I've got to do it. But for me, it's just like, it's a Disney movie, but like, doesn't have the fluffy bullshit. It's like, sorry, but it's literally just like pollution, fairies, men, and just the destruction that happens in the Australian rainforest. And I think that this movie is an underrated film for the 2020s. Like, I think this is something that will come back. And once people realise, one, Robin Williams is incredible in it. Like, and there's a song in it that's sung by, who is it? And he's like, if I'm going to eat somebody, it may as well be you.
Oh, yeah.
And it's by the guy that sings, is it Funky Cole Medina? No, the other one.
Cheech and Chong.
No, the other.
Tone Lock. It is.
Tone Lock. It's Tone
Funky
Lock.
Cole Medina.
Yeah, Tone Lock. So Tone Lock is a lizard in that film, in Fern Gully, and he sings the song, and it's a banger. And I think it's just a great film, and there's not enough fairies in cartoons, to be honest.
It's true. Environmental issues were like so much bigger in the 90s, but they should be now.
I think it was because the internet wasn't around and conspiracy theorists went around.
I quite often
We're just
think...
happy to watch Captain Planet.
I was going to say, how disappointed would Gaia and Captain Planet be with the kids we grew up to be as adults?
I know, right?
Yeah. We've let you down, team.
See, Captain Planet was this thing we used to watch back in our day.
Excuse me, I remember putting on Channel 2 and eating my food, and then Captain Planet was on, and then the news came on, and you knew that your childhood was over once the news came on?
My kids genuinely...
Yes, and you're like, God damn it.
I'd always tell my kids about how mum and dad used to talk about how hard it was to get to work and how hard they had to walk to school and all that stuff. And, I used to get the cane and all this stuff.
We could buy a pie and a finger bun and a Coke for 10 cents.
We could Mum would let us buy cigarettes from the store with a handwritten note.
Yes. Why do they all tell that story?
I got my licence just by driving the policeman home from the pub.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. However, my kids do not believe there was only 2 TV channels. Channel 2 and Channel 7 for me.
Well,
Wait,
you
how
grew up
old
in
are you?
Broken
SBS
Hill.
occasionally.
They probably did only have 2 channels in Broken Hill, and that was only 10 years ago.
And SBS is why I love SBS is why I still love subtitles.
I only got
because
colour
you liked
TV in
those XY
1993.
movies?
Oh, yeah.
How often do you watch Fern Gully?
To be quite honest, it's not free on YouTube right now, so. But to be fair, I watch all my favourite scenes. So, like, because I do photo shoots and things like that, I get massive inspiration from all the films I watch. So for me, the scene where I watch this a lot, actually. There's a scene where she dances on the water, and it's really beautiful. Animation-wise, it's gorgeous. So I watch just my favourite scenes because I don't really watch films anymore, to be quite honest. I don't have time. I watch my favourite 20 minutes and then go to the next one.
So you're just here to waste my time.
No, I'm just
the age
here.
of the internet has ruined us. We're all ADD really now.
Oh, yeah.
If you're only doing 3 things at once, you're not living.
Exactly.
Well, I just recently watched the final episode of Cobra Kai Season 3 to see whether or not I was going to stick with the series. Because I was 2 episodes in, I'm like, I'm really bored.
And how many hours did you invest in all of that? Not sure if you were going to go to the next series.
I only watched the first 2 episodes, then did the end of the season, and then went, no, I'm not going to watch this season. Got it. Thanks. Awesome. So let's get back into the music. What is the next film we'll be talking about?
Can we talk about Prince of Egypt?
I think that sounds very fair.
Yes.
That means, warning to all our listeners, that means it is Mariah Carey time.
Oh. Now.
This is 100.5 WOWFM. For the first and last time ever on Dave's Video Graveyard, there we heard from Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey, and that was taken from the soundtrack of the 1998 Val Kilmer film, The Prince of Egypt. This is a film that I jumped over simply for the fact that there was Balto and Emperor's New Groove and all these movies that I did not enjoy, so I jumped off the Disney train at about 98. Why did you pick this film?
Well, it's actually a DreamWorks film, and Disney spent a significant time making sure that it did not come to the cinemas, because that's what Disney does, because it's a cult. But
I'm sorry, but this show is all the movies, none of the knowledge, so don't fact check me, thank you very much.
Prince of Egypt is something that I think that a lot of people who didn't grow up in a cult may not know, because I had like my normal childhood, but then on the weekends I'd spend time with my dad, who was severely religious, praying in tongues, pray the gay away, pray the HIV away, that sort of thing. So we weren't allowed to watch Harry Potter because it was witchcraft.
Wow.
Something really funny actually happened where someone played Harry Potter at our Sunday school once, and everyone went crazy because someone had infiltrated the church.
Oh my goodness.
I love that is a film that there is no way it would get played just out of, just randomly happen.
Yeah.
But the fact it was forbidden is the reason that it was played.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, it creates
It was 100% a 16-year-old who was like done with
Edgelording it on
everything.
the
Did it feel good to press play, though?
Look, it felt good to watch it because it felt like we were eating chocolate, because I also wasn't allowed to have like proper chocolate. I had to eat carob chocolate, and
no.
like it was one of
That's
those.
even sadder than the movie.
We used to go. So when we got invited to our friends' birthday parties at Macca's, we would get our own Happy Meal thing. So we'd get the box, but then we'd get like a tofu burger and some nuts and things like that. And I sound super privileged because right
Lame.
now that's great for children.
Yeah.
But how about feeling like a total weirdo when like your stepmom comes in with a special box for you and everyone's smashing burgers and you got like some nuts? But yeah, and it was literally the same with film. So whenever my friends had a film playing at their house, we weren't allowed to watch it. It would be like, this is heathens movies.
Yeah.
This is the world. This is heathen stuff. They're going to, so it was crazy. So we couldn't watch anything to do with witchcraft, things like that. So Prince of Egypt was something we were allowed to watch because it came from the Old Testament. But I actually spoke to my dad today about it and went, just so you know, we couldn't watch Harry Potter, but this cartoon has babies being thrown into a river and crocodiles eating them purely because of like some sort of thing in the Bible. And my dad's response was, yeah, but that's a true story. And I was just like, this is why I'm so messed up.
So it's okay because it's true.
It's okay because it's true.
I have no opinion at all because we love everything here on WOW FM.
Well, I don't, and I don't work for WOW.
Let's earmark this conversation for the podcast.
Yeah, put a pin in that.
But
and we'll,
the point is, I do want to talk about with Prince of Egypt is Disney is something where we're like literally fed all of this stuff. But there's so many amazing animated films out there that, from a story perspective, soundtrack perspective, just any sort of quality, there's some amazing films out there that aren't Disney. But Disney were the ones that created a monopoly, and suddenly we were forced the Disney perspective and the Disney ideal, when really it was just because they were the ones with the most money, and now we're projecting our childhood based around Disney.
I'm wearing Baby Yoda jockets right now, so I can't counterpoint at the moment.
What on earth are jockets?
Yeah, I was going to say,
They're
something
like
like G-string.
Small jocks?
Yeah. They're
Like a push-up bra for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or like sockets, but for your nuts?
Yeah, it's just bras. It's just push-up bras. I'll show you later. I have to say, for a movie I haven't seen, this has the greatest cast of
I know, right? I'm looking at it going, geez.
Val Kilmer, Ralph Fiennes, Michelle Pfeiffer, Sandra Bullock, Jeff Goldblum, Danny Glover, Patrick Stewart, the incredibly attractive Helen Mirren, Steve Martin, Martin Short from Casey's favourite film Clifford. Then we've got James Avery, who is Shredder himself from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Got to get it in there.
Is he Uncle Phil?
Yeah, Uncle Phil is Shredder from the Ninja Turtles.
Really?
Now you learned.
Blew my mind.
Now I wonder if the Miriam in this, the character that Sandra Bullock plays, is the Miriam from There's Something About Miriam, the show that we were talking about recently.
Yes.
Did she come from the New Testament?
I don't think there was any testes involved. Have you revisited this as an emancipated adult?
Yes, I love it. So it's actually one of the films that I watch
Comfort
quite
food?
often. But I don't watch it during nighttime because it's actually really scary. So Ancient Egypt for me is freaky as anything anyway.
It's
mix...
the Old Testament. So
yeah, it's scary. There's
intense stuff.
People are painting like lamb's blood on their doors in this movie, and it's a children's film. Like the first,
but they're coming to get your firstborn. Yeah,
they're coming to get your firstborn, and like firstborn child dies and stuff. But this is a kids' film.
Did you ever see Watership Down at all?
Oh my god!
It was
Don't watch that
because you grow up as kids, and you know cartoons have become a safe space to a degree, right?
Yeah.
This is a movie about animals, talking animals, really cute animals, much like Animals of Farthing Wood.
Yeah, it was real
However,
similar to that.
They all start getting rabies, and that is the story of the movie. All animated like a kids' film, but horrifying.
This is obviously an analogy for AIDS, yeah?
And it's rated G.
Yeah, what
and
year
then
was
one
it
just goes that one that goes absolutely psycho and starts like attacking them. It's great.
What year was this released?
I reckon like 91.
60s? Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh, was it?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw it as a kid. Yeah,
right. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but weren't you born in the 40s?
How very dare you?
Burn.
Well, I will take all your chocolate away if you keep doing
No, I'm so thank you so much for the snacks.
I was way off, but so were you. 1978.
Yeah.
Ah.
John Hurt.
Harry Potter.
Wow, I actually think I might try and... I've developed this new appreciation for Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
And so I think I might give this a go.
Look, he doesn't have nipples on the batsuit in this one, that's for sure. Was it him that had the nipples, or was it George Clooney?
Can I show you a picture of the drawing where the animal's gone feral?
Yes. Oh my goodness. This, just to describe what's going on here, we've got a really cute bunny with like blood and froth coming out of its mouth, and it looks like a Disney character, but it's well and clearly dying of rabies.
Yeah.
Watership Down.
Yeah.
That's so sad. That's almost like, what's that other...
But the front cover looks like this real... bunnies.
Yeah, that's the type of film I would have watched and then like refused to eat meat for a month.
It's a very...
That's the front cover.
It's a very, very...
Yeah, kids
I've heard
all
of that. I
hired
reckon
it.
I've heard of that
And
film,
it's
and it
G-rated.
is like, yeah.
However, it was also a very similar storyline to Fern Gully because there's a heap of machinery coming to where they live to level it and stuff. So it's that ever-present danger type thing.
There are so many kids' movies from back then that are absolutely traumatic when you look back on them, like Marlo and Otis.
Yep.
Yes, and Homeward Bound.
I've got to say,
horrible.
anyone listening, do not look into the behind-the-scenes of Milo and Otis.
Yeah, don't do it because the film industry is horrible.
It is.
It really is. That's why, again, I watch film as a consumer. I watch film as a creator, not a consumer. So when I'm a creator, I watch this stuff and I'm like, But what about the children? Like, for example,
Somebody please think of the children.
that's literally me though. Like, you got that cuties thing that happened with Netflix, and it's like
I don't even want to go down that path.
Long
That is
story
horrifying.
short, you should not have children filming adult scenes.
No.
Blanket statement.
Just full stop.
And you shouldn't have animals being told to drown in water.
If the kid couldn't get in and see the movie, if they weren't in it, they shouldn't be in it either.
Exactly.
Well, that's a bit subjective because, like that movie Good Boys,
Yeah.
the kids couldn't get in on that just based on the language. But there was no...
Oh, it was pretty filthy.
Yeah, but it was presented naively. Where
But
I
these children are acting out scenes they don't understand.
Yeah. Let's move right along.
Anyway, sorry, I'm such a bad news bear sometimes.
100.5 WOW FM.
I've never met a person who lives in as much fear of his mother as you do.
You know what I should tell my mother what we do in here at night?
What, that you play video games and I fall asleep unfulfilled?
Oh, she calls you callow in here. You say that like it's bad. Well, it means frightened and weak-willed. That was the only part of the letter I thought was complimentary.
This is Brody's private hell.
Where the hell did that come from? What's going on here?
And these
Brody man, Nietzsche no cheese.
are his friends.
Ow!
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. What's a stink palm? Take your hand, you stick it like this. There, now you shake hands with the guy. You know how long it takes for that smell to come off? If you stare at these things long enough, you're supposed to see some kind of hidden three-dimensional picture.
Oh, yeah, look, it's a sailboat. You saw it too, damn it!
We slept together one time, remember, in high school, that ski trip?
That was you?
Dude, this looks like your mom.
Bye-bye, Easter Bunny.
There is no Easter Bunny!
You know about this game show thing they got going on here? Well, we need you guys to somehow ensure that it doesn't happen.
Fly, badass, fly!
Good evening, and welcome to Truth or Date.
Second suitor, would you ever make whoopee in public?
No, I think that's kind of personal. I don't think I should answer that.
Mall rats.
You said it was a good size.
When a girl says it's a good size, it's a nice way of saying that it's small.
What else did you expect from the director of Clerks?
Hey!
We are travelling back to the year 1995 because Princess Taysharni has chosen Mallrats on her list of all-time favourite films. Why'd you pick this movie?
Well, I'd like to first point out that it's wildly inappropriate that I was 4 years old when this movie came out. And I'm pretty sure I first watched it when I was about 8. I love this film. And do you know why? It reminds me of colonnades. It reminds me of colonnades. It reminds me of having the people that hang out in the green area. You got the people that hang out in this shop. You know, the shop people.
And it's still to this day because just last week I enjoyed an amazing bit of colonnade-ization.
Yeah.
With the gentleman that was openly enjoying a
Was
joint.
that where that
was?
was?
Was at Colonnades and
Oh.
a Jack Daniels at 11 o'clock in the morning and telling the ladies he was with how he could beat anyone in a fight even if two other people had weapons. And he was just living his best life.
Did he have a sidekick called Silent Bob?
No sidekick, no sidekick. I believe the ladies were his sidekicks. What an enjoyable
I picture him like that Damo and Darren cartoon.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was like.
Give me back my lighter.
So other than Colonnades, why do you love this movie?
Oh, look, Kevin Smith's an icon, isn't he? Like, let's talk about it. Like, he knows how to write conversation like nobody's business. I think that he knows how to write just people's general bullshit conversations in a mall. Like, I just think, like, even just the little names, things like that, like in the scene where Shannon Doherty is talking about how, like, it's a really emotional scene where she's breaking up with this guy and it's like really intense and she feels devalued and this guy's just playing Sega Like, that is just to a T my teenage years. Like, me trying to be like, why didn't you feel this? What are you feeling? What are you feeling? And they're like, I'm just playing Xbox, mate. and I love that. I love every character. I just love just the fact that all of these people are absolutely filthy, but I probably would want to date all of them. Like, they just seem really interesting.
And behind the scenes...
Not the Ben Affleck character, though.
No, I don't want to be in something uncomfortable.
You don't like an uncomfortable another class act as well with Kevin Smith was all the works he made at the Weinstein Film Company after Me Too happened. He donated it to different places, which to me gives him somewhat of a clean slate.
It
to a
does.
degree. Not
I
a clean
think so.
slate.
It's a
but
redemption.
It shows that, it more so shows that he wasn't involved for him to proactively...
Loudest voices are the ones that are usually the ones hiding stuff.
Okay.
Sorry to be the bad news bear. But no, it's... his relationship with his daughter is incredible, Harley Quinn. I think that he's like a dad goals. From what I see on the internet, he is someone that's like, no, my daughter can pick her own boyfriend. She can do this, she can do that. Like, he's actually, from a surface level perspective, very, very good when it comes to writing female characters as well. Like, he's someone
Not
that...
sexualizing them and stuff like that,
Yeah, I think he's just an overall good guy. And his podcast is great. I don't know if you listen to his podcast.
I listen to Fat Man Beyond.
From writing a, black and white film to having Stan Lee in Mallrats. Like, he was a massive comic book nerd, and then Stan Lee was in his film. Like...
And how classy was the
kiss between Rosario Dawson and Shannon Elizabeth?
Oh, always.
Again, it's like a what's his face Tarantino writing in the foot thing.
Yeah, more so.
He wrote that in just for me, for teenage Casey.
I would be in jail if I was writing for Rosario Dawson.
She's actually one of my actresses as well that, like, I had a very serious conversation in multiple relationships where I'm like, if Rosario Dawson comes up to me, I'm sorry, but I will cheat on you.
Yeah. Especially, like, Clerks 2 Rosario Dawson.
Because she's filthy in that, like, the way she speaks. I was a huge fan of her in Sin City.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was so scary as well.
And Josie and the Pussycats.
Everything
she's in.
Pussycats is a vibe, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A vibe. You are showing your age.
Sorry, guys.
An aging man, Casey.
I'm from the internet society.
Yeah.
It's a vibe, you know.
It's a vibe.
Cool.
Hashtag vibe.
Vibe check, guys. Send us a message on the text line. We'll do a vibe check.
Wanting to make jokes about toys, but we're not allowed to.
Save it for the podcast.
Yeah, the word vibe sends me to a joke arena.
Yeah. To the Cyndi Lauper movie.
Yeah, Rosario Dawson gives me a vibe.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'd like her to give me a vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. It is time to move on to the next movie. This is 100.5 WOWFM.
You know, you could be a model. It's too bad you're not sexy.
I can be sexy.
You know what would be super duper sexy? If you lost all the clothes.
Huh?
I'm sick of sleeping with these insipid Manhattan debutantes.
Ow!
Nothing shocks them anymore.
Well, you can relax. I have a mission for you. Why, I Plan to Wait by Annette Hargrove.
Paradigm of chastity and virtue.
Introduce her to your world of sex, drugs, and what else do you do? I win. Then that hot little car of yours, mine.
And if I win?
I'll give you something you've been obsessing about ever since our parents got married. Happy hunting, Sebastian.
Ciao. Do you think you could arrange a little get-together?
Don't think this isn't going to cost you.
God, you're beautiful.
Boldly go where no man has gone before.
People should experience the act of love until they are in love.
Do you mind if I take my new car for a ride?
I can't win with you.
It's not about winning, Sebastian.
Will you stop?
It's okay, you can laugh. She's really getting you, isn't she?
I'm completely infatuated with her. We're destroying an innocent girl. You do realize that.
You're just a toy, Sebastian.
Get it together.
Let me know when you do. I thought we were just gonna be friends. Is she for real?
Stop it.
In the game of seduction, there is only one rule.
Why can't we be together?
Because I don't trust myself with you.
Never fall in love.
Are you in?
Annette!
Or are you out?
Annette!
Quite the predicament you're in.
Cruel intentions.
My advice advice is to sleep with as many people as possible.
It is Dave's Video Graveyard, and here is the movie that told me and my mates that we were not sophisticated or cool at 19 years old, like the characters of this film. We are talking about 1999's Cruel Intentions, starring Ryan Philippe, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Reese Witherspoon, and Selma Blair. Why did you pick this film?
Well, it's probably one. It was the epitome of my puberty, I think. I think this was something that I watched and went, oh my goodness, like this is sexy. Like this is what made sense to me. This 100% made sense. I always loved, like, because this is from, I think it's like an old story.
Yeah, it is an old story.
And I love the drama. Anything to do with Midsummer Night's Dream, things like that, where it's like the teenage drama of this person sleeping with this person, but then they're going to this person.
It was like The Tempest or something like that. It was a
The Tempest is 10 Things I Hate About You.
That's right.
No, Taming of the Shrew was 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yes. Sorry.
Tempest maybe be
Clueless? No, Clueless is a Jane Austen movie.
That's right. We all know that Hollywood can't actually write films anymore.
Yeah. I'm getting them all mixed up because they try to sweep that under the rug. No, we came up with it.
I have to tip my hat to the algorithm on IMDb because it says more like this. Wild Things, She's All That, Fear.
Bring It On. Eliza Dushku as a cheerleader.
But there are all these. So these films were. What year was it?
99.
99. So 99. I feel like from 99 to about 2003, I was 9 years old at the time or whatever. But from what I've seen,
you were watching this when you were 9?
Yeah, no boundaries from my mother, baby.
And then on the weekend, Prince of Egypt.
That was literally it, and I had to switch. I wonder.
Oh my god.
So yeah, so for me,
like, so I'm bipolar now.
Yes, no, borderline. There's a difference. But no, this movie for me, like, I just loved the contrast of the really sweet girl and the really sexual girl. Yeah. And that for me literally formed my identity, I think, a bit. Like, we had to, as women, we had to switch from the innocent to the sensual, and we couldn't really be both. And I loved the way that Catherine, although she's horrible and she's the baddie in it, she just owned herself, and it was something I'd never seen before from women.
Yeah.
And
I'll let you put it anywhere.
Literally. Yeah. And I was just like, I want to be her when I grow up. And, you know, luckily, you know, I got some boundaries in place eventually. But, like, this was a film that we all kind of, like, do you know how many of my, I'm using bunny ears here, but straight friends talk about how much they loved that film? Like, and it's to do with the whole bisexuality and things like that. Like, it was a huge film for a lot of women to see what else was out there.
I wasn't comfortable in who I was in 1999, so I remember going and seeing this. This was the gateway movie. Guys could go and see it and enjoy it, but essentially it was what we'd call a chick flick back in the day.
Really?
However, the fact that Placebo was on the soundtrack, for me,
that was a good soundtrack.
Placebo were like a bridge too far for me. I'm like, no, I'm too manly to get into Placebo.
Whatever.
Brian Loco creeps me out because he wears dresses. This is who I was. I'm not that person anymore, but this was 100% who I was back in the footy days.
I think for me, it's very like, when you're that age in high school or whatever, and this is out, everyone's like horny for like Usher and all this. But this is the kind of thing that a bisexual teenager can hire and be like fitting in and being like, yeah, that movie's awesome, because they're digging it into a sexual
This movie
thing.
for our generation is Tommy and Chucky from the Rugrats, where they're adults but just with the baby heads. That's what we were. That's what we were.
I'm not on the page yet.
Because of all the adult content in this film, and we were only like 18 years old at the time watching
I was
8. Some of us watched it legally.
You must have skipped a few years.
Because we were 18-year-olds at the time watching this movie, or like 16, however old we were. We thought we were adults, but we didn't know. And all the adult content in this film, we were like, oh yeah, I totally get what that's like.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're just pretending to be an adult.
Or it's even at the end at the funeral where she grabs a necklace with a special substance. Yeah. And I was like, I don't understand that. And then nowadays I'm like, that's a nice necklace.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, literally.
And this movie, much like Mean Girls, gets credited for the like burn books and stuff.
Oh,
that became popular.
that moment when she finds out that he's died, and then she reads the thing and it's Bittersweet Symphony is playing, and she reads the thing and she gets arrested.
To me, that was cinema. When I was a teenager, I'm like, this is good stuff.
This is drama.
Were you both fans of the likes of, do you remember Rules of Attraction with James Van Der Beek?
Yes.
It was very similar in
I had
tone.
the massive crush on that girl that ends up topping herself.
Yes, the one from First Night with Heath Ledger.
Oh, is she the one, she's quite tanned and she's she's beautiful.
She should have been in more things.
Mm-hmm. She should. Including me.
Oh. It's like there are two of me in the room. It's great.
I would like to do a show next week, guys. So moving right along. Oh, what is her name?
I don't know her name.
What's the movie with Heath Ledger where he's a knight? I thought it was First Night.
Knight's Tale.
Knight's Tale. Not First Night with Sean Connery.
Film with a good soundtrack. I love me a old-fashioned film,
Except
but then a modern soundtrack.
When they're dancing to Golden Years by David Bowie in the Jester's Chamber or whatever, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. That is a future episode of the podcast.
Yeah. Movies that don't make sense because their soundtrack. Let's have a look. Yeah.
That's...
No. Shannon Sussman.
Shannon Sussman. She was in Rules of Engagement.
She was in 40 Days and 40 Nights.
Yeah, 40 Days and 40 Nights is another great film.
Rules of Engagement.
Which has the best porno title in it I've ever heard of.
Rules of Engagement is a... it's a sideways sequel to American Psycho. Because James Van Der Beek's character in that is the little brother of Patrick Bateman from American Psycho.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I love a good deep dive like that.
I like that.
Yes. I love that.
Do not finish that thought, by the way. Oh, you guys are going to kill me. I'm turning into old man.
And I'm being so tame. I'm having to hold myself
The fact
back.
that you're the one that's going, you can't say that, is really this is new territory.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not having a good run of the rules, so I'm doing my best.
Okay.
Doing my best is my slogan.
And to test that even further, I think it is time we hear a song and then we talk about From Dusk Till Dawn. So it's going to be a time here on 100.5 WOW FM. It is 100.5 WOW FM, a little bit of country and southern music, two of the worst kinds. We
Tito
are
and
talking
Tarantula.
about 1996 God tier level or fictional character tier level, depending on your thoughts, whatever they may be. This is no Prince of Egypt. However, it is pretty special. We are talking about From Dusk Till Dawn, directed by Robert Rodriguez, the first paid script that Quentin Tarantino worked on. And it stars Harvey Keitel, George Clooney, Juliette Lewis. You can hear all about it on our podcast. However, we want to hear from Princess Taysharni. Why did you pick this film without saying the words Selma and or Hayek?
Look.
Or cans.
Just, can I say thighs? So I absolutely love SFX makeup. I think it is amazing. I'm super sadistic. I'm someone who will chuck SFX makeup on and then run out to their friend and be like, oh my God, I've been shot. I've done Adelaide Zombie Walk for years. I love it. So when I went through high school, I wanted to be a SFX makeup artist and work at Tom Savini's makeup school. It was a goal. I watched all these films, saw how they did it. I just love... you know what I love? I love the fact that this film is Reservoir Dogs for an hour and 45 minutes or an hour and a bit, and then the rest is like
then
Bram
Cheech
Stoker's
Marin
Dracula.
shows up.
Turns to like sleazy Buffy and the Vampire Slayer.
Cheech Marin from Fern Gully shows up, talks about all the cats that they have, and it is quite a time. I love, much like Fight Club, I wish I could see From Dusk Till Dawn again for the first time without knowing where it went.
I'll never forget my first time watching it. Yeah, it was amazing.
It's one of those things, I think, that like you expect this film and you're literally like, it's pretty dark, the first bit of it. Like Tarantino's character is hectic. And then you get to this point in the bar and it's just a wild, wild west from there.
It's just a totally different movie. You just suddenly, it's great.
Creature effect. And I also, like, we talked about this on the podcast. I love the idea that all the character stuff and all the makeup effects in this were actually done by Greg Nicotero, who grew up learning from Tom Savini. And this was like, imagine working at your craft in front of your boss or the guy that taught you, like your sensei. You've got to show him your work. And for it to work out so well, this is amazing.
They've got a guitar made out of a human spine.
That is so cool. Hey,
great.
I went to a costume party and made that out of cardboard. It was the best.
That's great. Can we have pics of that afterwards?
I'll find it.
No, it's a great film, and I think honestly, like, how do we not talk about some? I genuinely like Selma Hayek.
9:22. Content warning to our listeners. Selma Hayek is in this movie.
Oh, and it ignites a fire in my crotch.
I am trying not to be derogatory, but all I can say is that I've never seen a more perfect person, and I would 100% lick champagne off her feet, and I'm not a foot person.
Yeah, same. Even after she'd crawled through, like, Salisbury East. Barefoot.
Oh, I'd lick it.
Colonnades car park?
Yeah.
Or is that the line?
Nah, still lick it.
Yeah, this film, honestly, it's a sight to behold. And also, without Tarantino or, you know, even Robert Rodriguez or any of the famous people in, this is a trash movie, but it's a trash movie that has so many amazing elements that it does become a sum of its parts, because you've got Harvey Keitel, one of the most respected character actors of the 90s.
He's a priest in this.
Yeah,
He's a priest, yeah.
George Clooney was like the biggest TV actor at the time on ER, of all things.
Yeah.
Juliette Lewis, who is amazing. Everyone in this film is fantastic. 3 roles going to Cheech Marin. Sorry, Fern Gully's Cheech Marin.
With one of the best opening, you know,
one of the greatest
dialogues
monologues of
there.
film ever.
So
I hope there'll be a radio show years from now, much like where we couldn't figure out which Shakespeare was the...
Oh, yeah.
Which was the film that he was speaking of the cats.
Soft, thou pussy.
I feel like we need to make that speech like a TikTok video where we make it
people
viral.
do it. Yeah, how funny is that?
Great.
Have old like nans and stuff. I'm too old to be on TikTok.
Oh, me too.
Awesome. Well, that is a fantastic choice. Let's have a look at your list. What would
Can
you
I quickly talk about one more thing?
No.
Nah.
Please?
Go
Please?
on then.
So let's just talk about, this is a bad news bear thing, but essentially Quentin Tarantino got to suck champagne off of her toes, which was written by his best mate. So he wrote in the scene for him. And then years later, Rose McGowan claimed that he used to look her up and down and be like, I've used your foot scene from Jawbreaker multiple times. And we know what that means. And that's from her book, Brave, where she talks about that and he creeps on her. So, like, I'm someone who, I love Quentin Tarantino, but I'm sorry, but I'm prepping. I'm prepping for that Me Too shit.
Rose Army on that one.
I wonder what happened to the prosthetic leg of Rose McGowan from Death Proof.
Yes, I got
sorry, from Planet Terror.
Planet Terror.
I bet you I know who has it.
Mm-hmm.
Have I ever told you that story about how he used to ring her up when she was working on Charmed?
No. Because he directed a couple episodes of Charmed, I believe.
I have no idea, but
And
she was dating his best friend from Troublemaker films.
So, because I was watching this thing and it was about where the props of certain things had gone, and it was like, what happened to that Book of Shadows? And she's like, funny story, that every now and then when we'd be filming the show, it'd be a phone call and it'd be like, Rose, it's for you, it's Quentin again, right? And she'd be like, oh, all right, blah, blah, blah. And he was, like, obsessing over the show. He'd be like, you know, so that demon that you fought, blah, 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 demon, like, it said that he was killed by this, but what are his origins? How did that happen? And he'd ask her these really deep lore of these things, and she's like, I don't know.
He'd be like a Trekkie nerd.
He's like the weird kid at school you make friends with who's suddenly obsessed with you.
Yeah, so he'd call up all the time, and he would ask all these questions that by the time they finished the show, they actually gave him the book. So the Book of Shadows from Charmed, Quentin Tarantino has.
That's insane.
Isn't that the most bizarro thing?
I think anyway, so I just wanted to bring that up because, like, come on, guys.
I just feel like I have to say out loud, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Put it out there. Now, while we're in the realm of amazing vampire movies, let's go to one that has perhaps the worst accent work of any vampire film ever. We're talking about 1992's Francis Ford Coppola of The Good Father. The Good Father.
The Good Father.
That's a good movie. The Godfather fame. Bram Stoker's
film.
Dracula, which is famous for being all the special effects done in camera.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, which
That's
is
cool. That's
you
why I
think
like
about the
it.
train scene with all the writing and stuff.
Yeah.
That was all done practically, which is amazing.
That's
Why did you
insane.
pick this movie that features Gary Oldman with boobs on his head?
Well, there's a threesome scene in that changed my life.
Moving on. Fern Gully. Fern Gully is Robin Williams is in Fern Gully.
No, so vampires and me, I'm obsessed with vampires. I'm all cute and sweet and innocent, but my I'm looking for my vampire lover still. I went through the Edward
Looking
phase.
for your Edward, yeah.
I went through the Edward phase. I did grow up with Lestat. I grew up with
Yep.
Queen of the Damned and stuff like that. And I
Oh, the
read-
Lestat in Queen of the Damned.
Better than Tom Cruise.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Cruise is a weirdo, but I like it.
But,
like-
the other one's way better.
So I went through watching all these movies when I was young because, again, I said I didn't have any boundaries. But I watched these movies and then read Twilight, and all my friends were obsessing over Twilight, and I was like, that's boring compared to what I'm
But you're like,
reading.
I can dig it. This is a gateway.
I was like, I'm
You
already
like
onto the
watch
erotica.
this.
This is for 10-year-olds.
Moving right along.
True Blood. HBO.
Oh, yeah. I watched that too through high school.
Now, treading lightly, Monica Bellucci is also in this movie.
Yes, she's one of the vampires in my favourite scene.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm
a big fan.
Yeah.
Yes. Name drop for my friend Daisy, who was her stunt woman in something. I can't remember what movie it was. Monica Bellucci's.
As long as it wasn't irreversible, it's fine.
No, I don't think it was that, unless it was, and so I'm sorry, Daisy. But no, Monica Bellucci, again, Monica Bellucci is gorgeous. She's on the Selma Hayek level.
Yeah,
Like, I
she's
genuinely
real
believe.
Classy,
Yeah.
nice.
In The Matrix, I couldn't concentrate on what they were talking about whenever she was on screen.
She's, yeah. And look, Bram Stoker's Dracula, you've got Keanu Reeves, like baby Keanu Reeves, who's this gentleman guy who's getting, led astray by these vampires and all of this,
He's Jonathan
debauchery.
Harker in this. And I also love that he still has the Bill and Ted voice, but trying to be taken seriously.
Yes.
Whoa, it's Dracula.
Yeah, and Gary Oldman with the boobies on his head's great. I think that's probably one of the greatest hairstyles of all time, if I'm honest.
I love Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so Gary Oldman. That's another reason. So Gary Oldman in this film is absolutely beautiful, and he wears these gorgeous purple glasses that I remember in this scene, and he's out in the street, and there's this werewolf scene. I can't really talk about this movie without being dirty.
I need to watch this again.
This was literally my film, because I didn't have the internet back then, so this was the film I watched to wonder what happened with the birds and the bees.
Yeah, a couple of beans got flicked around the room.
Who's Sadie Frost?
I don't know who is Sadie Frost, but she's cute.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just asking because she was at the premiere and she was interesting.
Well, Winona Ryder as well. Like, it's just one of those iconic 90s movies, but it's, Bram Stoker's Dracula is genuine erotica, so you can't really talk about it without,
But because it is a Francis Ford Coppola, it is unnecessarily long.
Yeah, that is very true.
Do you know what's a really bad Dracula movie, though? Dracula 2000.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God.
How dare you, either of you, come in this sanctuary for Gerard Butler and speak badly of his performance as Dracula in Dracula 2000 that features so much new metal.
Oh, yeah.
So much.
And Vitamin C trying to act.
Sanity. They're in
the Sanity music, yeah.
Virgin Megastores half the movie.
Oh, wow.
It's a
We're
real,
doing
it's a
that
time. Yeah, we have to.
As punishment, you have to come and do that. How dare you, either of you besmirch Mr. Gerard
That was
Butler.
one of those weekly movies that it was like, literally, Dracula 2000 was one of those things where it was like, well, we got nothing else we can pick.
And it's always in stock.
Gerard Butler is Drazik for Dad's generation.
Look,
Wow.
I'm just really, really happy that Gerard Butler was a vampire at one point in time. That's what I'm happy about.
I'm surprised. That movie makes that Dracula is actually Judas from the Bible.
Yes, and
So you'd really
Technically,
not
you
like
should have
it.
been allowed to watch that
well,
when you were
well,
younger.
oh no, this was but my mum was a witch. So like on the weeks, my
So
mum
you're
was a
watching The
practical
Craft?
Pagan. Legit, we had like a Ouija board at home. We had like one of my bookshelves was a coffin made out of like it was, and then going from that to Christianity.
Yeah,
for
what the hell?
weekend.
The duality you lived with is amazing.
I can adapt to any situation.
Awesome. Well, now that we've done talking about sexy vampires, let's talk about completely not sexy dinosaurs. This is 100.5 Wow FM.
This holiday season, George Lucas and Steven Spielberg present a Don Bluth film, The Land Before Time. Long ago, when the Earth was new, 5 friends, lost and alone,
Mother, where are you?
took an incredible journey
You want to go with me? Yeah.
through a land of wonder and a land of danger.
I hope he doesn't eat any of you. Quick, this way.
From the creators of An American Tale comes a story of friendship,
Do not stop. We must stay together.
courage,
Oh, you can't quit now. What if the Great Valley is just over the top of these rocks?
and laughter. From Universal Pictures,
Some things you see with your eyes, others you see with your heart.
a new adventure is born. The Land Before Time. Coming this Thanksgiving to a theater near you.
1988. What a year.
Star.
For me,
I won a
being-
colouring in contest once at my local video store for colouring in a Land Before Time picture.
Wow. Well, being the slim, long-distance running, health food eating kid I was, I had all the puppets from Pizza
Oh,
Hut
yeah.
that you
I've
got.
still
from-
got them.
Did you put that? I saw actually one recently. They put it on the back of the car. You know, the little
Yeah,
ball bar.
totally.
Yeah. I saw that and I was like, oh, you're throwing it back.
That's cool.
No, I love it. That movie's beautiful.
Why did you pick this movie? Land Before Time, 1988.
Because of childhood trauma.
Really.
This whole
Definitely.
movie is nothing but childhood trauma.
Pretty
like
much.
his parents, he's separated from his parents. There's a catastrophic event. Then his mum dies. It's so sad. And the scene with like the dinosaur, and then it's like the sludgy scene, and he's like stepping, and it's doing that the Jurassic
It's
Park
one of those like
thing, and-
Artax in the mud
Yeah.
vibes going on in that. Yeah.
And it's like Jurassic Park style, and you get the little thing. And this movie, the intro, is another one of those movies where they were kids' films that I still can't watch to this day because I genuinely feel scared of the intro. Like, I remember being a kid and watching it and being like, this is scary. That even now I get that same feeling where I'm like, nope, fast forward it.
Wow.
But it's one of those movies that it was the boys' movie. So it was always the movie that my cousins would watch because I'd always be like, let's watch Beauty and the Beast. Let's watch, this, A Little Mermaid. And that was the one that was like the boys' movie that you were allowed to watch. Like, that they were like, okay, we'll watch this because good dinosaurs.
Yep.
So yeah, I love it. I think it's great. And we were just talking before about the messed up situation between Ducky, and she's a child actress that was voiced in this, and she had some horrible things happen to her.
Look up that if you like weird, dark
Yeah,
stories.
if you want to cry,
Yeah.
watch that one.
And that's something I think that, like, again, like that story makes me feel bad because I was her age when I watched this, and it's like it's just, you don't see that. You see this beautiful cartoon, and it's like, oh. But anyway, I think this movie is great because the animation is dark. Like, it's a dark kids movie. It's
Yeah,
not
it is.
something where you've got your Disney princess eyes and things. It's like a Tyrannosaurus Rex going to come eat your mum.
That's like, did you ever watch a movie called The Last Unicorn?
Yes, that movie's so distressing too.
So depressing, and it looks gorgeous, but it's just really sad and horrible.
And little kids are so this is what I'm all about. Like, I love kids movies, but I'm sensitive. Imagine being 3 years old watching this and not understanding, and then watching it, because that's why I love these kids movies, is because I imprinted on them as a kid, because I was like ultra sensitive of it. And when you're a little kid and you're watching
You're feeling
these
that
movies.
emotion really pure as well.
And the
Yeah.
music, like you add music mixed with film, mixed with all of this, and you're sort of like, you're very sensitive. And that's why that movie for me, I still have to fast forward it because it's I think that kids get exposed to different things, and even just, I can watch a horror film and it's fine, but I'll watch this and I'll be scared, but it's because I was scared as a kid.
But a horror film, it's fake. But this is something that you can completely relate your emotions to.
Yeah. I think that's what it is even as a kid. You're like, imagine if my mum died.
Because that's the worst thing to you when you're a kid.
Yeah. And that's what they do.
So
That's
they
how
put
Disney
that
do
in
it.
there.
They add it in there for the kid, because then the kid gets that lowered sadness, and then they get that hit of endorphins afterwards where it's all happy and they're like, it's good again.
It's like, still to this day, I haven't watched the movie Up because the first few minutes were so devastating to me that I was like, I'm not watching the rest of this.
Yep.
I'm broken now.
Yeah. And it's a kid's film.
Yeah.
So, I'm the same. Up is one of those movies that I also cry in. I cry in a lot of films, actually. I cry in a lot. Just got a lot of feelings.
Well,
I'm going through some stuff right now.
Like I keep saying, Adam Sandler's Click destroyed me.
Oh, yes. Oh, but to talk about Kate Beckinsale, though, we want to talk about...
I am so uncomfortable not being the pervert in the room. let alone third in the rankings. It's really throwing me off.
You're coming in bronze.
But good luck being perverts over this song. This is 100.5 WOW FM.
Ooh, a whole new world.
It is 100.5 WOW FM, Dave's Video Graveyard. I welcome anyone that's tuning in just midway through that song, and I'm going to give you a content warning because that's as sweet as it's going to get. I'm trying my best, but it's out of my control. We are joined by Princess Taysharni, and I run over that name because I'm terrified of saying it wrong now, because in my mind I'm hearing the Salisbury Arn, so I was like, Shani.
Well, my name's Taysharna.
Oh, really?
Like, my full name, like my actual name's Taysharna. Princess Taysharni is
My parents were Bogans too.
Yeah, my parents, like, my name's Taysharna, completely made up, like, but it's on my birth certificate, and it's because my parents were indulging in a lot of extracurricular activities and substances.
Nice. Aladdin.
On that note.
Why have you picked this film?
This is one of my favorite films of all time. The soundtrack is incredible. The story is amazing. It's also the film that I have loved forever, which means that I tried to lose my virginity to this film with my first boyfriend.
Yep.
So
pretend it's a lamp and just rub it.
I love that. So essentially, I spent a good solid year of turning him down of sex, and I decided one day that we were going to have sex.
To Aladdin.
To Aladdin. That was my decision. That's what I had stuck to. And because I'd shut him down for so long, he didn't get the hint through the whole film. So I was throwing myself at him. And so
he just knelt down in front of you and went, open sesame.
Hey, look, there was no open sesame. I was literally like, I could have been sitting in front of him and he still didn't get it because he was so used to me shutting him down. So romantic.
I can open your
legs.
What time's Colonnades open?
I need to get some Monster Energy drink.
But what happened was,
babe, have you seen my tap out jumper?
Babe, I've got to get to the next save point. Stop it.
Babe,
I'm going to miss the bus.
Oh, we're going.
Wait, can I hide a bag here?
Yeah.
Now, talking only about the film, why did you pick Aladdin? And not for your virginity, but for this evening.
So, yeah, virginity's long gone. So for this evening, I've picked it because, one, Princess Jasmine is gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking, I was like, he thinks that we're making everything sleazy, but as soon as he did this, I'm like, but even Jasmine's hot.
Yes. Well, this is the thing. So because I'm a little, and anyone who needs to know what that is can Google it, I love Disney, and I think that it is incredibly...
It's cool that you're a little because I'm a wide.
You're a wide, are you? You're a little bit wide. I think this movie, the soundtrack and Robin Williams and the stuff that went down with him, like he refused for Disney to sell any merch with his voice in it, but they still did it anyway.
Really?
Yeah, they got a sound-alike to do like Macca ads and stuff. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because he signed a contract saying, I'll be in this animated film, but I will not
And
sell
that's
merch.
why it's one of the plot points of Mrs. Doubtfire at the start, where he won't voice the character, the cartoon
Really?
selling smokes.
Huh. Because Disney's a cult.
But in saying that as well,
Is that why he did it though? It was like a...
that was a jab at, like, this is what happened.
Well, there
Because
you
I think he
go.
didn't come back for the second one, but he did the third.
I know that there was that horrible Saturday Disney show that had those knockoff ones,
Yes.
and it didn't have his voice, but it had
still
Gilbert Gottfried in it.
Yes.
Yeah, no, and he's like, I think Robin Williams is something like you watch the whole film and he changes the whole film.
Well, he changed the game with this because if you up until this, you could have just been a celebrity with a noticeable voice and done animated work. He was like, no, you have to show up and you have to shine.
You have to snort a lot of cocaine.
This is a masterclass in voicing a cartoon character.
Oh, he's just great. And I think, look, honestly, I think what's absolutely ridiculous is like, we're in this culture nowadays where everything has to be culturally correct for people to not get angry. But literally, Aladdin is just Disney meshing up every single Arabian culture and shoving it into one film.
And turning the hero's voice American.
Yeah.
But making the bad guy the Arab
Darker.
guy with the accent.
And they're things that I think that, like... I didn't notice them. I didn't care as a kid. I didn't look at Jafar and go, he's Arabian looking, therefore he's the bad guy. I didn't think
subtle.
that. It's very subtle. And then you're tuned in going, okay, so my waist needs to be this size, like Princess Jasmine, and my prince needs to be like this. And then soon you're indoctrinated into this cult, literally. And Disney's a cult. I'm like, it's kind of...
And if you look at the Walt Disney logo, the 666 in it.
Oh, don't even get me... give me some of that Disney conspiracy theory, Illuminati stuff.
Tinfoil hats will be given out at the door. How often do you revisit this, and what did you think of the Guy Ritchie live-action version of Aladdin?
Well, one, I watch this movie very regularly. It's one of those movies that I'll put on Disney Plus to go to sleep to. But I want to talk about the stage play, not the actual film. The film's fine. Disney doing live action is nothing but a money cow.
Yep.
But the live action, like the musical, I cried my heart out. So I went with all the family. I drank a bottle of red. My whole family don't drink, so I was the only one, a bottle of red deep.
Just there with a ring of red around your lips and red wine teeth going,
It was literally me, and I had a total breakdown. I was watching it, and I was just like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I can't believe that at 4 years old I was watching this at the movies, and now I'm 20 years old watching it, and it's the most beautiful thing in the world. I'm so sensitive. And then, like, from there, I literally had a breakdown, and my family's like, are you okay? And I'm sloshed. I'm just really happy and really drunk, and you guys don't get drunk. So
The cartoon, real people, real the cartoon.
I swear this cartoon's like 3D right now.
Yeah, literally me, and my whole family's like, you okay, Taysharni? And I'm like, you know what? I'm fine because I am watching the Disney live show at 30 years old and crying.
Now, we have 2 movies to get through in 12 minutes. We've got 1 song to play. Now, I will ask you, are we going to go Murder, She Wrote or Celine Dion?
Celine Dion, always.
Celine Dion. Okay, well, let's do it. This is 100.5 WOWFM as I find my Celine Dion. It's right there. This is DVG. Just before everyone goes to sleep, this is 100.5 WOWFM.
Love song dedications.
Coming to you at
Dave's
4
video
a.m. I'll be here till 4:30 a.m. If you've got a request, simply jump on the fax machine and send it on through.
Call the landline.
You have chosen Beauty and the Beast, and I'm terrified to know why, because I've seen the little note you wrote next to You
But
made me.
no, given the rest of the list and the way that we've discussed them, I can see it completely unfolding before we've even had the discussion.
1991, a film was released. It starred so many famous people. Robbie Benson, you had Rex Everhart in there, Angela Lansbury from Murder, She Wrote, and they all voiced a big movie about Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast. Why did you pick this film?
You say Stockholm, I say sub-dom relationship.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just going to find...
There's a bit furry in there as well.
Before you continue, I'm just going to find a picture of Chip, just so we can keep things innocent, and you can say all your dirty things while staring at Chip's face.
Oh, no, I wish that when they all turned back human, Chip just had a massive chunk taken out of his skull, and everyone just started going, ah!
Look, realistically, that's kind of what I want to be honest. I love this movie because coming from someone who is stuck in Adelaide and feels like they're stuck in this poor provincial town, I feel Belle. I feel her. She isn't understood. She's just trying to do her thing and everyone's moaning about it. And so she decides to run off to some guy who's going to lock her up and never let her see her family. And, you know, that's kind of kinky. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, it's something that I think that's really interesting in this day and age where we look at that logically and it's kind of messed up. The whole story that we grew on of this Beauty and the Beast story of, you know, changing someone and all of this stuff. But
it's like, it's toxic, honey.
Yeah, it's toxic, honey. But how many girls do you know that watch Beauty and the Beast and are like, oh my God, I love this whole thing? Or like they watch Jeffrey Dahmer stuff and they're like, oh my God, I love Jeffrey Dahmer.
He's like different when he's around me alone.
The amount of times I've heard like people say, oh, Richard Ramirez was so hot in a dark way. It's like, or, he literally got caught because his mouth smelled
Ted
like
Bundy.
poop.
Oh, yeah, really? Ted Bundy as well.
Yeah, Ted Bundy as well.
Everyone was like, he was so hot. Some chick got a tattoo of the Ted Bundy bite mark.
He's like one of the hottest guys ever to beat you to death with a log.
Again, kinky. No,
you just got to have a safe word.
Wonder what show will be on next week instead of this. Good time. Is there anything else you wanted to cover on Beauty and the Beast before we get to our final film?
Look, honestly, with Beauty and the Beast, I think it's just one of those things I want to talk about. The fact that whatever films we watched when we were younger, if we're kind of into it now from an intimate perspective, it's totally normal. And it's something to do with the fact that you were exposed to it as a child. And anything that is what you would see weird has an explanation, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to talk about
Spend
that.
Spend a lot of time in the bedroom with a blade scooter. So, I get you.
You get it. I'm sure we've all watched that movie and thought about it in a weird way and been like, am I normal?
Now, we're talking about Legally Blonde, the film from 2001. You heard about how the actress got stabbed that was in this?
What? Do you know what? I tried to do this before. Nobody would let me do it. With a spoon?
No, it was with a knife.
I wanted to do it with cruel intentions.
Yes.
But yeah.
I think that's why Paul left the podcast perhaps because of that joke.
Dad jokes.
I love me a good dad joke.
When I got him with the Reese Witherspoon joke on the Fear episode.
Yeah.
He was pretty angry about that.
That whole Fear episode was
rough.
An exercise.
Why did you choose Legally Blonde from 2001?
Because it's one of the greatest feminist films of our time. It's a great film.
Okay.
You can't tell me that this isn't a great story about someone who presented one way, was judged a certain way, and then got told they couldn't do something, got their heart broken, went there, achieved their goals, and did it in their own style.
Right, I got it. It's Rocky for chicks. I get it.
Literally, it's Rocky for chicks. I love it. Yeah.
Bend and snap.
Look, honestly, anyone who can take down criminals wearing pink is someone I can get around, to be quite honest. And I love presenting a certain way and then dropping knowledge and then people not knowing how to take me. And I think that's what it is. I think Elle Woods is someone who, like, you walk in and you think you can screw around, but then she'll drop some knowledge on you. I'm very passionate about it.
What do you think of this one, Casey?
I really love Linda Cardellini. And I was watching an interview with her where she was saying that in this movie she was in the cinema and her bit came on where they're talking about the chemicals of the perm, which is what incriminates the thing. And when she came on screen, someone goes, ugh. And it just like hit her real deep.
Because she's in Freaks and Geeks. She's a good.
Have you seen her in Dead to Me? She's so good looking, man.
She's Velma in the Scooby-Doo franchise.
I know.
You know. When you know, you know.
I know Melinda Cardellini repertoire.
We can't cover those movies because of how much my children love them and how Casey feels about them.
Yeah. But you send me the cosplay images of
You're an enabler.
Yes, 100%. And it's the same thing, as we'll be having a really serious radio or podcast related conversation, and Casey will send me a video of Selma Hayek, and it's like,
well, how am I supposed to work?
We're trying to organise what time to record.
Yeah,
it's true.
How often do you revisit this one? Is it one of those comfort movies?
Yeah, it's another comfort one. It's another one where it's bubblegum. My eyes look happy. My eyes are happy when I watch it. I genuinely love Pink. I love watching it, and it makes me feel good. Like when she talks about the perm thing, and then they think that she's not going to be able to solve the case, and she does it, and the guy sexually assaults her, and then does
it's
the
a
thing,
little bit like Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion.
That's a good film too. It's one of those
same vibe.
Yeah,
I knew you guys would sync up. It's happening.
Yeah. Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion is actually one of my favourite films too, because I feel it. I feel like
I think every girl can relate to that.
As my generation says, it's a vibe, yo.
It's a vibe. Yeah, look.
It's lit AF.
Lit.
Also, can we just talk about how, it's the most iconic breakup scene where she's like, what, I'm too blonde? My boobs are too big?
I love this. I think almost was borrowed by Anger Management. Do you know the bit where Adam Sandler turns down Heather Graham and she flips out with the chocolate cake and she's really intense?
Yeah.
That's what this breakup bit makes me think of.
Yeah, I can see
Anyway, believe it or not, we are out of time. Wow. You guys have turned all these innocent movies into filth, so apologies to all our listener.
I did nothing.
Childhood ruined.
That's it. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Casey, obviously.
I wish you didn't join us.
We have The Dross Effect tomorrow.
Yes.
Fantastic. Check
it's
that
all
out.
about bands that were on The Simpsons.
Nice. So check that out on 3D Radio tomorrow. And Princess Taysharni, where can people check out your work?
You can check me out on YouTube. I am Princess Taysharni, where I...
Oh, you'll let me say it wrong all night, and now you'll tell me the right way of saying it.
Yeah, it was getting me off. Princess Taysharni on YouTube. I talk about age regression, all things childhood trauma, and kink. So that's where my primary platform is. You can check me on Instagram as well. However, Instagram sucks. We all need to stop using that platform because of censorship, because it's all boring now.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. I hit what's the Reels? I hit the Reels tab.
Reels.
Still pretty good for me.
Yeah,
it's real good.
Yeah, it's real good. Nice. Very nice. Finger gun for you. You've done that. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, you can let us know how we went on the social medias. Just look for Dave's Video Graveyard on WOWFM and check out an upcoming future episode of the podcast of Cruel Intentions.
Yes.
Rated X, I'm guessing. This is 100.5 WOWFM.